Who's excited? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the thing about Valentine's Day that's the most important is tomorrow morning, regardless of whether you have a relationship or not, what kind of undies are you going to put on tomorrow? This is a very serious question. Which kind of undies will you put on Valentine's Day?
Like your panties.
None. I will rephrase my question. Who's in a relationship currently? Hands up. You're in a current relationship. Who'd like to be in a relationship? Hands up. Alright, so, personal question. Think please back to the time that you had the last really hot date, like with your current partner or another partner or somebody you'd like to have a hot date with. Please think back to or think hot date. Have I got you in the right frame of mind? Hot date, yes? When you are preparing for a hot date, which kind of underwear shall you put on?
None.
Excellent answer. No, this is an excellent answer. You want to be prepared, yeah? So we've got a nice mixture of males and females, and I don't know what blokes do before hot dates, but women mostly, what do? If we don't put any undies on, we prepare for that particular area perhaps to be well looked after. What do we do with our hair and our nails and everything else? Shower, shave, wax, hair, yes or no? Yes. We prepare well because we're excited about this hot date. Just say yes, Rowie. Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, and I'm sure that nobody in this room this has happened to, but unfortunately in some relationships, those really sexy undies or the no undies become a little bit more like a bit bigger, more comfortable undies. Yes or no? You know, my partner won't care because I've got to wear these undies all day, I've got to be comfortable, I'm not going to wear those undies with a string at my bottom when I've got to be sitting down all day. Are you with me? So sometimes we get into our comfortable undies stage. Some of you, if you've been through a relationship or several relationships, you might have got to the point where you don't care too much about your underwear anymore, and the only time you see your partner's undies is perhaps in the wash basket. And they might be a bit stretched now, and they're a bit see-through, and they might have brown marks in them. You know what, we're all laughing, don't you? Because you know what I'm talking about. Now, if you think back to a hot date, the hottest date you've ever had, would you ever go on a hot date with stretched, see-through, brown-marked undies? Just say no. So, here's my serious question now. This amazing career that you have in the bank, where are we? We're actually sitting in the bank. That's pretty cool. Is this technically the post office? Post office. There is all of our lives technically isn't related to our partner or our relationship, because ultimately who we are shouldn't depend on our relationship or the person that we're with. Would that be fair? Who we are is who we are. So here's a great tip before I go any further. When should you wear great undies? All the time. Did your mum ever tell you that? What if you get hit by a bus and somebody sees your underwear? Well, I'm going to go a step further than that. I think your underwear should be representative of who you are. So why would you wear daggy old undies, even if nobody's ever going to see them? What a great foundation to a great relationship with yourself. Here's another great tip. Everybody do this for me, because when you work in the bank, this is something that gets looked at. And I've noticed today there's some magnificent fingernails in here. I don't know about the guys painted ones, but some of the ladies have magnificent fingernails. Because when you work in here, people are looking at your hands, aren't they? Well, I was taught this at a very young age, that when you put your hands out and people can see your hands, they should be the hands that if somebody handed you a Mont Blanc pen to sign a contract for a $10 million deal, that your fingernails or your hands would be representative of that deal. So you should always be ready in your life that if there was an opportunity to sign an amazing contract, sign something for your house or a big loan perhaps from the bank, that you would always have hands that were representative of somebody that was successful. Interesting? So why would I share that with you? Because I think you know this more than I do. There are some really grumpy people in the world, have you noticed? Some of them might come into the bank, yes or no?
Yes, absolutely.
And And do you ever wonder why? Why can't these people that are so grumpy, what could we possibly do to make them happier? Now, those of you that have had this experience, we've been to a tropical island and you're with a beautiful person, you've got your favourite beverage in a beautiful big tropical glass in front of you, and you're about to go back to a beautiful 5-star luxurious cabin and make love to this beautiful person. Have you had that experience? So I'm getting back into the sexual fantasy. If you say to that person, how are you today? The answer should be, I'm amazing. Look at me, I'm in this tropical island, I'm with a beautiful person, I've got my favourite drink and we're about to do beautiful things to each other. I'm awesome. Now there are some people in that same situation, if you ask them how are you, they'll still say, not too bad. I don't think there's any hope for those people. But I'm not talking about that. What I'd like you to be able to do today, and Shayla will share with you, because she said, oh, Rowie's a really happy person. I'm accused, not complimented, I'm accused every day of being obnoxiously happy. You can't be that happy all the time. People say that to me all the time. Rowie, you're unrealistically happy. It's not possible to be happy all the time. But if you can leave here tonight with at least 3-5 tips on how to be happy all the time regardless, would that be a good thing? And I'm not talking about being happy in Tahiti on a tropical island with a beautiful drink and a gorgeous person. I'm talking about when it's not sunny outside, because, you know, people are whining about the weather at the moment, aren't they? Everybody's coming today, oh, it's so hot today. Guess what they're going to be saying in July? Oh, it's so cold today. I can't believe it's raining today. Yes or no? Yes. And you're the front line, you have to deal with them every day. So what I'd like to give you tonight is some things that you can take away from here this evening, that when things aren't going so great, you can still be happy. Does that sound good? So I've given you 2 tips already. What kind of undies are you going to wear? Great. Awesome. If you've got sexy undies on, you're going to feel better. If you've got the stretched, see-through, brown marked undies on, it's not going to be a good day, yeah? So start with that. Great undies. Awesome.
We'll have to have an undies inspection.
Now, I'm not sure what the political rules and regulations are about that, but I'm just asking you as a personal tip to yourself. Now, if you leave here tonight with at least 2, 3, 4 ideas on how to be happy all the time regardless, we've had a good time. Would that be fair? So what I'm going to have you have a look at is this amazing word. Do we all understand what this means? Say it out loud, please, so we all know where we are. In the bank, yeah? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at 4 things that we could possibly do based on a bank to be happy every day. Does that sound good? Yes. All right, so the first thing we're going to have a look at, if you've got pen and paper, I'd take notes. If not, you're going to have to implant firmly in your brain. Because B is going to stand for brain. Like that? Yep. Pretty easy. Now what I'm going to ask you to think about with your brain is, how does your brain work? And there's these 2 guys that we've all heard of that we use every single day, if not several times throughout the day. It's called a product called Google. Do you know what that is? Mm-hmm. Now, interesting thing about Google, it's the name of a company, yeah? It's also a verb in the Oxford Dictionary now. We Google stuff every day. So it's become a normal part of our lives. Now, those of us that are a bit more mature, there was a time where there was no Google. 2 gentlemen got together, Larry and Sergey are their names. And most people don't even know what they look like. They're not like famous people, but they're pretty famous because their product's pretty amazing, isn't it? They got together and they said, we want to create, and this is really exciting for me, because people say to me, Rowie, how can you be happy all the time? My answer is really simple. Do what you love to do. Does that sound simple? If you every single day you're doing what you absolutely love to do, you reckon you'd be happy? Well, that's what these guys did. They got together, 2 friends, Larry and Sergey, and they said, hey, we're really passionate about computers and we're really passionate about learning. How about we create the world's best search engine? They never said, let's become multi-millionaires, billionaires. They said, let's create the world's best search engine. So they did. So much so now that we don't just have a company called Google, we actually have a verb in the Oxford Dictionary called Google. But they created Google based on the human brain. And what we're going to do tonight is play a simple Google game. You keen? Do you like to play games? I love playing games. I'm just going to split this amazing group of people in half here. So you have to be on this side, you're going to be on this side. And what we're going to do is recreate the Google brain the way Larry and Sergey created the Google search engine. Because they simply created the search engine based on the human brain. So when you think they're pretty smart, Yeah, they are, but they didn't come up with a new invention. The Google search engine is based on the human brain. You ready? So this part of the Google search engine is you type in the word. Simple, yeah? So if you type in shoes, I'm not sure if blokes do that, but women, I do anyway. If I type in shoes into the Google search engine, so I've picked the word, I type it in, yes? So you guys on this side are going to do what the Google search engine can do, which is make a decision and type in a word. Easy?
Yes.
Once you do that in Google, you type in the word, what does Google do?
Find solutions.
What does it look for? What does it only look for though?
Anything with
Only shoes. So we get to decide what we're going to type into Google. So we get to make this side is for the control freaks in the room. If you're on this side, you might want to swap sides. This side of the room, you get to decide, you make the decision of what's going into the brain. Yes? So this is what we call the conscious brain. You guys are going to be the subconscious brain, which is simply all you can do is back up enthusiastically what this side has decided, which is exactly how Google works. You type in the word and then Google searches for the word that you typed in. Human brain's the same. Human brain is we make a decision. There's lots of information out there, but we make a decision. We feed that into the subconscious brain, and the subconscious brain says, okay, and enthusiastically backs up everything that we've fed in there. So let me give you an example. If I type in shoes into Google, what happens?
You find everything with shoes.
Everything with shoes, yes? This is how the human brain works. I wake up in the morning, I look in the mirror, you ready? I'm so sexy. Say it.
I'm so sexy.
Who made the decision? Who typed in the word? You did. Now, subconscious brain, Google search engine, what is the only thing that you can look for? Sexy. That's the only thing that you can enthusiastically search for and find and feed back to the conscious brain. You got it? So conscious brain has decided on sexy. You guys, of course, sexy. And every single file in the brain now with the word sexy in it, guess what? Sure, we'll feed that back to you because that's what you've asked for. So when you were 13, you went to a party and your first boyfriend said you're so sexy. Guess what? That file gets fed straight back into this brain. Isn't that awesome? I'm so sexy. And then 2 nights ago, your husband said to you or your partner said to you, you're so sexy. And that comes straight back into your human brain. You go, yeah, I'm so sexy. And then yesterday, some weird person from the bank said to you, you're looking very sexy today. And that gets fed into your Google brain, straight into your brain. Who typed in the word? Okay, so let's practice. Say it. I'm so sexy.
I'm so sexy.
And you're going to say, yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
And here's all the reasons why.
Your 13-year-old boyfriend.
And every single file that's in your brain will now feed back into your conscious brain all the exciting things that you've typed in. Isn't that awesome? Let's have another go. I'm really happy. Say it.
I'm really happy.
Yes, you are! And here's all the reasons why. I work at the Kiwi Bank, I've got lots of friends here, I meet happy people every day, it's sunny today, I live in New Zealand, I've got heaps of food to eat, I've got a great family, and all the reasons why you're happy gets fed back into your conscious brain. How are you feeling today? Happy. Happy. Who typed in the word?
You did.
Okay. Let's try this. For the 3 blokes on this side of the room, this is going to be a little bit complicated because I'm not sure if guys have this. Wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, I'm so fat. Say it.
I'm so fat. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And here's all the reasons why. A fat little baby. You remember it from 4 years of age. Oh, what a fat little baby. You're at school at 7, somebody said, you're really fat. Feeds back. 13-year-old boyfriend, you're really fat. Boyfriend broke up with you, you're really fat. And now all these files of fat get fed into your conscious brain. First thing in the morning. Now I'm not sure about the blokes, but how many women in the room have ever had a fat day? Now there's a small challenge here, physiologically. Can you go from thin to fat in a 2-minute period? Physiologically, can you eat enough food in 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 days, even 2 weeks to go from thin to fat? The only example that I've got for you is Renee Zellweger for the Bridget Jones series, the movies. She had to get really fat in her headspace, and she said it took her about 3 months to put on 10 kilos. What? Physiologically. She ate to get fat. Now, I'm not sure if the blokes are going to get this, but the women in the room, how many of you have gone to the mirror one day, looked in the mirror and thought, yeah, I look great, I'm so sexy.
I'm so
Sexy.
Yes, you are.
And here's all the reasons why. Yeah. Next day, 24 hours later, you look in the same mirror and you say, I'm so fat.
I'm so fat.
Yes, you are. And here's all the reasons why. And all the files get fed in. Now, here's the challenge I've got for you. Who fed the file? Who typed in the word? So if you type shoes into Google, the only thing that Google can give back to you is all the files on shoes. If you type in rental cars and get back shoes, what will you think of Google?
Rubbish.
It'll become the top search engine in the world. If every time you type in shoes you got rental cars, you go, this is a stupid search engine. See, the human brain works exactly the same way. When you type the word in, your brain will feed back every file. Now, we collect all the files. The subconscious brain, you've got no control over that. You just collect all the files, collect all the files, collect all the files, collect all the files. But who feeds them back? Say, Rowie, I do. Now, who gets to decide what we say first thing in the morning?
We do.
So if you're having a fat day, whose fault is it? You fed the word in. If you say to yourself in the morning, I'm fat, have you got any chance of having a great day? And here's the big challenge for all of us. If you're having a fat day, I don't know how the blokes go with this, but women, if we're having a fat day, is it a little bit harder to smile at the customers? Yes. It's a hell of a lot harder. But we get to decide the words that we put into our own brain. So I'm going to ask you on a day-to-day basis, rather than it's cold, say it.
It's cold. Yes, it
And here's all the reasons why you're going to be really cold today. Yes? We'll put it into better context, because tomorrow it's going to be hot again, I'm sure. And say it. It's really hot today.
It's really hot today.
Yes. Now, this is where it becomes really interesting. Because can you be happy and positive about hot or cold? In the middle of July, when you're freezing cold, what are you wishing it was?
Sunny.
Dry. And in the middle of winter, when it's pouring rain, you could say it's raining, or you could say, like I do now, there's free water coming out of the sky. Because I live at Taupaki, and the water coming out of the sky now would actually be free, because at the moment we have to buy it, and it's expensive. When it's really cold, guess what happens to your physical metabolism? It speeds up. When it's hot, your metabolism slows down. When it's cold, to keep you warm when you're cold, your metabolism speeds up. So when you're freezing cold in July, instead of saying, oh, it's so cold, what could you say?
I'm losing weight.
Oh, I'm losing weight. I'm burning calories really fast because I've split up my metabolism. So when someone comes in the door and they say, oh, it's so cold, you can say, guess what? You're speeding up your metabolism. Isn't that awesome? Because what I'm going to ask you to do now, which is the next letter, is to analyse your attitude. What is it? Attitude. Attitude. And what we're actually going to do is a personal self-analysation. There's no such word. Do you like that? I like making up words because it makes life more interesting. And don't you want to be more interesting? Don't you hate it when you say to somebody, how are you, and you get the standard response, not too bad? Don't be that person. That's the normal average attitude, yes? How are you today? You could have a different attitude, which could be, if I was any better, I'd be the Kiwi Bank. I'm amazing. Now I'm going to give you a attitude strategy. Do you like that? And you could use it every single day. And I've already asked this because I had an opportunity to chat to the other managers of this fine facility, and I gave them a challenge. So I know you want to be a manager and you want to be a manager, so I'm going to give you this challenge. You ready? Sing with me as soon as you know what I'm doing. May your Mondays be magical. May your Tuesdays be terrific. May your Wednesdays be very wow. I'm writing wow with my bottom. May your Thursdays be thankful. May your Fridays be a fun day. May your Saturdays be super with 70 O's. May your Sundays be sparkly. because you choose them to be. Are you ready? You got the idea? You know the tune? You got the general idea? May your Mondays be magical. May your Tuesdays be terrific. May your Wednesdays be very well. May your Thursdays be thankful. May your Fridays be a fun day. May your Saturdays be super. May your Sundays be sparkly, because you choose them to be. Now, do you like that? Because you choose them to be. So if you wake up on Magical Day morning, which most people call Monday, and what do most people suffer from on Monday? Mondayitis, which is inflammation of the Monday. But if you have inflammation of the magical day, so how are you today? I'm a magical day. I'm amazing. It's magical day. This is my favourite. Terrific Day Tuesday. How are you today? I'm infecting people with my terrificness today. Go through the New World checkout or the Pack and Safe checkout, and when the person says to you, because they have to say that to you, how are you today? It's part of their job, they have to say that. And you say, how do you think I am? I'm terrific, I'm infecting people with my terrificness today, it's a terrific day. People go, lunatic at checkout 7. But you will be remembered. And Shayla wasn't always from Albany, she did come from the north, the west side, sorry, from the West Gate. And you will know that there are checkout operators at the Countdown and at the Red Shed and at the Yellow Shop, that's what I call them, who love it when I come through their checkout because they say to me, how are you today? And I go, I'm expecting people with my terrificness today. Because if you're boring, average, grumpy, miserable, what kind of attitude and what kind of reputation will you get? See, every single one of those days, you can, even if you can't come up with any of your own, you could actually just use those ones. How are you today? I'm magical, it's a magical day, I'm terrific, I'm infecting people with my terrificness today. Wow, it's this, do it in your chair for me because it's actually kinesthetic. Go, right, wow, with your thumb in your chair. W-O-W. How good does that feel? Especially if you've got no undies on, Alice. Now, if somebody comes to your counter, if somebody comes into your bank, and they're a bit grumpy, and they're, you know, sometimes people yell at you for no reason, or they've just had a bad day. You don't have to do it conspicuously, just write wow with your bum. It makes life different. It gives you a different, what kind of? Attitude. So I'm going to give you a couple of quick tips, because I think that you, in this room, you could actually change the banking world. Do you like that? What if when people came to the Kiwi Bank, it was Magical Day, Terrific Day, Wow Day, Thankful Day, Fun Day, Super Day? I think you closed on Sparkle Day.
Not us.
There you go, open Sparkle Day. What if that when somebody came into your facility, there was always somebody with a positive, happy attitude? Because you've got sexy undies on, you've spoken to yourself in the morning and said, how do you think I am today? It's Wow Day. My favourite is actually Thankful Day though. Now, I always use this example because I'm a woman, and regardless of what's going on in my life, when I wake up, particularly on Thankful Day, I'm thankful that I'm a woman who lives in New Zealand. Imagine if you're a woman who woke up in Baghdad or Afghanistan, in a place where women are not treated so delightfully. Isn't that just a great reason to be thankful? Now I'm going to stretch it. If you wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you actually tell the truth to yourself in the mirror and you say, oh, I'm fat. You know, if you say it.
I'm fat.
Yes, you
Yeah. And here's all the reasons why. You eat too much and you eat junk food and you don't look after yourself and that's why you're really fat. All of that could happen. Versus, you could look in the mirror and you say, oh, I'm chubby and I love it.
I'm chubby and I love it.
Yes, you do. And here's all the reasons why. Because when you're chubby, what does that mean about your choice of food? You have a choice, don't you? Do you know there are people in this world who would love to be chubby, but they don't have any food, so they actually can't be chubby even if they wanted to be. So if you look in the mirror and you say, I'm a bit chubby, you actually live in a country where it's possible to eat food. Now, here's just a quick reminder, if you ever have a bit of a whine about being chubby, and if somebody has a whine, what are you going to share with them? Would you like some cheese with that wine? Isn't that just a great thing to people come in here and it's cold outside, it's hot outside. Would you like some cheese with that wine? See, people laugh when you do stuff like that. Now, here's the thing. If you ever have a whine about being chubby, I've got 2 questions. Number 1, every meal you've ever eaten, everything you've ever put into your mouth, who was there? You were. Who chose to eat it? Just say, I did. Next question. Has anybody ever snuck into your house at night, opened your mouth while you're sleeping and forced food down your throat? See, if you take responsibility, if you have the right attitude, which is just a responsible attitude, yes, I ate it. If I'm chubby, I ate it. In the banking industry, wouldn't you say if you're broke, you spent it? Wouldn't you say that? Now, you might not, because it might not be politically correct. But if somebody comes in here and they're broke, you'd have to be thinking that, wouldn't you? The reason that you're broke is because you spent it. The reason we're chubby is because we ate it. And that's called a great attitude. And if you ever are upset about any of those things, just say to yourself, I'm chubby and I love it. It means that everything I've ever eaten, I enjoyed it. And I am going to give you another one on that. I get really, and I've been in the fitness profession all of my life, but I get really sad when I watch people with a beautiful, and my favourite thing is like a big piece of chocolate mud cake. Does anybody like that? Like, you know, with the thick, you know that cake that doesn't go stale for like 2 weeks because it's got so much butter in it? That kind of cake. And the creamy ganache chocolate stuff on the top, like yum, it's like an orgasm in your mouth. And I watch people who aren't enjoying that. They're sitting down in front of a piece of cake and they're actually saying, I shouldn't be eating this, it's got too many calories. Well, don't bloody eat it then. If you're going to eat it, enjoy it. Yeah. If there's no pleasure involved, why would you do it? And if you're going to do it, make sure there's some pleasure involved. Would that be fair? Because that would be a great what? Attitude. Cars on the road. I heard a couple of whispers. It's a bit of cheese with that wine today. About some cars on the road, yes? Imagine if you wake up tomorrow morning and on your way to work at the bank, there was no cars on the road. None. You would be concerned, I promise you. You'd be thinking, there's some kind of nuclear explosion. What's going on? Yeah? See, and there's 2 things to be aware of with the cars on the road. So you don't call it traffic, because when you say traffic, positive or negative word? Negative. And you say, and there's lots of traffic today.
Yes, there is.
Oh, and it becomes a negative downward spiral, yeah? There's lots of cars on the road, and the first thing to be aware of, if there are cars on the road and you are on the road, what are you? You're the traffic. So don't be whining about the traffic, because that's who you are. You're part of the traffic, yes or no? Yes. Now the second thing about lots of cars on the road is there's lots of people doing business. And if lots of people are doing business, they're going to be making money, and if they're making money, where are they coming? To the bank. Come on, that's exciting, isn't it? Imagine, and those of you from Westgate, there is not too much traffic going on at Westgate at the moment outside the Kiwi Bank, and it's a bit boring there, isn't it? So a day goes much quicker when there's more people, yes or no? So when there's cars on the road, you're going to say, yes, busy day, time's going to go quickly, woohoo! And that would be a what? Attitude. Great attitude. I'm going to give you a challenge. One is to be accused of being obnoxiously happy. That's a really, one day someone says to you, you are obnoxiously happy. And the only way to do that is to, every single time somebody comes up with something negative, you put a positive spin on it. And it doesn't matter what's going on, there's always a positive spin. And I'm going to give you a really interesting example. Some of you won't be aware of this particular time frame. But there was a horrible time in history where some planes flew into some buildings in New York. Does anybody remember that? Now, the Oprah Winfrey show, about 4 weeks after that event, remember that I've got goosebumps telling you about it, because it was a horrible time in history. One of those horrible things that happened in the Western world. And the Oprah Winfrey show, Oprah had 2 women on her show after the Twin Towers happened. And she had one woman sitting next to her who had put on 100 pounds in 4 weeks. Can you get fat in a short period of time? She put on a lot of weight. Please don't quote me on the number because I'm not sure, but she put on a lot of weight in a short period of time. And the other lady sitting next to her had lost the equivalent. So one lady had gotten really fat in a short period of time, and another lady had lost an enormous amount of weight in the same period of time. And Oprah said, could you please share with us what happened? And the woman who put on an enormous amount of weight, she said, I watched the planes fly into the Twin Towers, and I watched those people who got killed, and I sat in front of the television for 4 weeks, and all I did was eat food and feel really bad about all of those people. And I put on this enormous amount of weight. The other woman said, I watched the Twin Towers happen, and it broke my heart. So I decided that I was going to raise money for the families of the people that got killed in the Twin Towers building. So I started a charity, and we started walking kilometres, and people sponsored us dollars per kilometre to raise money for the people in the Twin Towers. And she said, I lost an enormous amount of weight. See, the same thing happened to 2 people. One got really fat and one lost a lot of weight. I'm challenging you on this. We can't change most of the things that happen in our world. We actually can't change the weather. Did you know that? I have no control over it, do you? I would like it to be a bit cooler tomorrow, but I don't have any control over that. Neither do you. But we have absolute, complete control how we respond or we react. And that is a choice. See, a grumpy customer can walk in here and try and press your buttons and make you angry and upset you and give you a really bad day. But if they give you a really bad day, who won? And I'm not a fan of people winning in that situation. In fact, I don't really care too much about winning, but I bloody hate losing. And somebody trying to push my buttons and upset me, I'm not into that. How about you? For the control freaks in the room, that means somebody else is in control of your life. Do you really want the weather to be in control of your life? Do you want some grumpy customer to control how you feel? Please just say no. No. You have full control how you respond or react. You can look in the mirror and say, I'm fat and I'm going to have a bad day. Or you can look in the mirror and say, I'm a little bit chubby and I love it because I've eaten all this food and it was yummy. Yes or no? Yes. So it's all about attitude. Now, never give up. When do most people, I'm going to give you an interesting statistic. When somebody sets a goal, and we're talking about it this afternoon, how many times do people give something a go to achieve their goal before they give up? What do you think the number is? 3? 2? It's not big numbers, is it? Guess what it is? Less than 1. Because most people, when they set a goal, they come up with all the reasons why they can't achieve it. I can't do that because... I'll give you a different example. A lot of people say, I will be happy if and when. I'll be happy if it was cooler. I'll be happy if I lost weight. I'll be happy if I was in a better relationship. I'll be happy when I have more money. I'll be happy when I get a better job or a promotion, yes or no? Yeah. What if you just decided today, I'm going to be happy? What if you decided that if you're going to achieve something, you just kept going until you achieved it? How many of you have heard this expression, I'm scared of failing? Have you ever said it? You don't have to admit it, but sometimes we say that to ourselves, I'm really scared of failing. What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if something goes wrong? Let me give you a definition of failure. Giving up. If you give up, you will fail. So if you never give up, you will never... Oh, come on! So what have I just given you? In the word bank is this beautiful expression called never give up. And if you never give up, you will never fail. People say to me, and this is a classic because again I've been in the fitness profession all of my life, Rowie, I don't know why I've got fat. Is that true? Really? I've tried everything and it didn't work. Yes or no? I've been on every diet that didn't work. I've tried every exercise program that didn't work. I've been to every gym and it never worked. Is that true? What is true? I gave up. See, lots of people lose weight and they find it again. I lost it and I found it. Because what did I do with my healthy eating plan? I gave up on it. I lost weight and then I put it back on again. I found it. Because I started to go to the gym and then what did I do? I stopped. I gave up. And when Shayla said to you, and it's an interesting thing, you picked that. I was 13 years of age. I had pimples on my face, I had buck teeth, and I was chubby. And I got bullied at my school for being chubby, and I got bullied for being the ugly girl at school. but I decided at 13 that I was going to be healthy and strong for the rest of my life. That I was going to become an exercise professional at 13. Now, what do exercise professionals do? There's a clue in the first bit. Exercise. Yeah. So I decided that I would exercise every day. Now, some people call that fanatical. Let me give you a different example of that. How many of you brush your teeth every day? Every day, really? Isn't that a bit fanatical? Every day? Now, why do you brush your teeth? To look after your teeth? Yeah, that's a good reason. Why else do you brush your teeth? Bad breath. You don't want bad breath, you want to look after your teeth. What did you say? If you haven't brushed your teeth for a few days, how do you feel? You probably shouldn't know the answer to that. If you wake up in the morning, you know you've got that morning mouth. How does it feel? Yeah? When you brush your teeth, how do you feel? Now you're not thinking to yourself, I'm going to brush my teeth to stop decay and make sure I don't have bad breath and that I have good healthy teeth for the rest of my life. What do you actually brush your teeth for? To feel good. It makes you feel good, yeah? So doesn't that make sense about exercise? The biggest thing about exercise has got nothing to do with, yes, I want to be in great for the rest of my life. The biggest reason to exercise every day is because it makes you feel good. Now, I'm not standing in front of you as an exercise professional on that one. I'm standing in front of you as a neuroscientist. Don't I look like what? When you exercise, you pump happy drugs through your brain. Now, that is not argued. It doesn't matter whether it's a neuroscientist, a psychologist, a psychotherapist, a physiologist, doesn't matter, no one's going to argue anymore. When you exercise, you pump happy drugs through your brain. Now, you ready for this? This is my new exciting word for 2019. Brain-derived neurotropic factors. Do you like that? Yeah. Brain-derived neurotropic factors is fertiliser for your brain. When you exercise, you pump it through your brain. Fertiliser for your brain. Guess what happens to your attitude when you're pumping happy drugs through your brain? On top of that, there's serotonin, dopamine, endorphins. Oh, come on! Do you know what my profession's done? And I'll call it the industry of fitness. And I'm embarrassed to stand in front of you and say that my profession's done this. Guess what we did to exercise? We took something really simple and uncomplicated that people used to do all the time. All we do with that, we made it long and boring and complicated. And you have to do 30 minutes or don't bother. Have you heard that? You've got to go 3 times a week or don't bother. Really? And you've got to go for a leave. Imagine if we told people you have to brush your teeth for half an hour. Guess what we would have? Lots of tooth decay. Lots of bad breath. But the beautiful thing about exercise and these brain-derived neurotropic factors and endorphins and dopamine and serotonin is that as soon as you get puffed, guess what's pumping through your brain? All of them. As soon as you get puffed, everybody stand up. Even if you've got high heel shoes on like I have, you can run with your arms. Okay, on your mark, get set, go sprint. Go, 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 go. You've got an effort, I want you to get puffed. Go, 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 go. You run, go, 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 go. Woo! Stop. Now the reason we stopped is that some people are already puffing, yes or no? Yep. Yeah. And say that proudly, because you've done this before. Fit people get puffed really fast. Unfit people get puffed really fast. If you put an effort in, you get puffed. Isn't that cool? Now, the coolest person in the world to prove that is a guy, those of you who've been around for a few years, a guy called Usain Walk. Usain what? On your mark, get set, bolt. How long does he go for? 10 seconds. Go! Go, 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 stop. The rest. Sit down. Yeah. That's hot. Guess what happens when your body heats up? You burn lots of calories. Isn't that awesome? Now, for some of us in the room who are over 50 and we're women, guess what happens when we get over 50? This amazing, awesome thing happens because you don't get a period anymore. Isn't that awesome? Blokes should say, yes, that's awesome. I can't wait for my wife to go through menopause so she won't get a period anymore. Yes or no? See, you'll often hear that, I'm going through menopause. You know what I say? Isn't that awesome? Your sex drive will go up. You'll be more excited about life because you won't have this hassle every month and you won't have a bad mood all the time. Isn't that awesome? Just say yes. And I can say that. I'm very happy to say that. I'm over 50. And the biggest hassle in your life when you're a woman from about 12 or 13 to over 50 is having this stupid period every month. It's gone, thank goodness for that. And that's awesome. What's that all about? Attitude. And guess what? If you are having any challenges, whether you're feeling depressed or anxious or you're going through menopause or you've got a bad time of the month or there's something horrible going on in your life, when you do a short bit of exercise, I didn't say half an hour, Usain Bolt runs for how long? 10 seconds. When you get puffed, it takes about 10 seconds whether you're fit or not. Just if you're fitter, you'll recover quicker. That's all. Everybody gets puffed in about 10 seconds if you put an effort in. And guess what happens when you put an effort in? You pump happy drugs through your brain. Say it, brain-derived neurotropic factors. So you could stand behind the post office desk and if somebody's giving you a hard time, you could write wow with your bottom, and then sprint for 10 seconds. And you'll be pumping a great attitude through your head, happy drugs through your brain, and you'll be feeling fantastic. Just say, thank you, Rowie. Now the challenge with all of this though, first of all, is it hard, and we'll use teeth brushing, is it hard to brush your teeth? No. And you do it to make you feel good, yeah? How often do you do it? Twice a day. For most people it's not even once a day, it's twice a day. Why wouldn't you exercise for 20 seconds? 10 seconds in the morning and 10 seconds at night. And guess what? You could do 10 seconds in the middle of the day and be an overachiever. And what would you be doing? Pumping happy drugs through your brain. Yeah, now that's that bit. But the fitter you get, and for those of you that are concerned about being a bit chubby, the fitter you get, the faster your body burns calories at rest. I'm going to say that again. When you're fit, all the fit people in the room, while you're sitting down here doing nothing, the skinny fit people, or the fat fit people, doesn't matter whether you're fit, you're skinny or fat. If you're fit, guess what? Your body will prefer to burn fat. You'll be a fat burning machine. Turn to the person next to you and say, I'm going to turn my body into a fat burning machine. There you go. Some of you said it beautifully. I already have. My body is a fat burning machine. And that's the thing that I really would like to dispel this myth, because I come from a profession where if you type in to Google, if you type in weight loss or fitness or health or all these millions of pictures of people with hardly any clothes on and their ripped abdominals and their tight butt cheeks will come up, and you'll go, that's what fitness is all about. And it isn't. You can be chubby and still be fit. You can be chubby and still be happy. I'm not talking about ripped abdominals and tight butt cheeks. I'm talking about being healthy and loving your life and having a great attitude because you've got happy drugs pumping through your brain. How good's that? And the big challenges with health, and I'll lay this on the line. We live in a country now where coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, depression and obesity, all killer diseases, and this country we have the worst per capita rate. You know, we're sometimes ahead of America, sometimes behind, sometimes ahead of Australia, sometimes behind. But this gorgeous little country has some really big challenges with those big killer diseases. So I'm not talking about ripped abdominals and tight butt cheeks, I'm just talking about being healthy. And if you pump happy drugs through your brain, guess what? You'll feel good. And if you feel good, you want to get puffed. And how long do you need to get puffed for? Usain? 10 seconds. Thank you. And the thing about never give up is that if somebody's not expecting you to exercise for 30 minutes, you probably won't give up. If it's only 10 seconds, then why would you want to give up? Why would you give up on brushing your teeth? How about that? Oh, I'm not going to brush my teeth anymore, I can't be bothered. You don't give up on that, do you? I'm going to give up on eating, I can't be bothered. I'm going to give up on showering, I can't be bothered. See, Shayla said Rowie exercises every day. I shower every day, I eat every day, I brush my teeth every day, I look after myself every day, don't you? And 10 seconds is not very long, is it, to pump happy drugs through your brain? Last but not least. Okay. Cool. Calm. Courageous. I know I can't spell. Shayla did share with you I ran away from home. I was actually 14 and 9 months, so she exaggerated a little. And the reason I share that with you, because the first job I applied for, I was 14 and 9 months. And I want to share something really funny with you. When you're 14 and 9 months and you really want to be 15, what do you say? 14 and 9 months. How many of you who are over 40 or 50 say, I'm 50 and 11 months? I'm 49 and 9 months. It's pretty funny, isn't it? So when we're young, we want to be old, and when we're old, we want to be young. Why not just enjoy who we are now? And just love being 50 and love being 21 and love being 37 and just love it. How about that? Because can you change it? No, I don't want to be 37 anymore. I'm going to be 34. It's just an age, isn't it? Now, I'm sharing this with you because in the banking industry, this is really important. If you have corporate aspirations, if you'd like to be the boss, if you'd like to be promoted, if you'd like to earn more money, the 3 things that bosses have, you know when we have a bit of a whinge, a whine we have, those CEOs, they earn so much money, we do all the work and they get all the money. Would you like some cheese with that one? Can I promise you that every highly paid CEO who gets to stay in that position has those 3 things. They're cool under pressure, they're calm under pressure, and they're courageous. They're prepared to take risks. KKK, easy to remember. Cool, calm, and courageous. Now, the reason this has worked so beautifully with the bank analogy is that doesn't come if your brain is not on fire, if you're not feeding the right words into your brain. If you wake up in the morning and you go, it's going to be a really stressful day today, I'm going to panic.
Yes, you are.
It's going to be a really stressful day today, and here's all the reasons why. Just as a quick note, panic is never part of the solution. The people who can stay calm under pressure are always the ones that get paid more money, get promoted, and have more opportunity. Because when you're panicking, guess what you can't do clearly? Think. Brain doesn't work well when you're under pressure if you can't control the pressure. And the only way to stay cool and calm under pressure is to be in control of your brain. So if something terrible is happening, you can't be saying, you have to be saying, this is awesome. I love challenges. Challenges help me grow and they make me stronger. And here's all the reasons why. I've had all these challenges and I've overcome all of them. Yes? So you have to be in control of your brain. If you've got a positive attitude about a challenge, what are you going to say? Oh, this is a terrible challenge. Or are you going to say,
Awesome.
Awesome. If I didn't have challenges in my life, I'd be bored to tears. Yes or no?
Yes.
If everything was happy, for about a week, that might be really nice. When do you feel the most fulfilled in your life? When you overcome challenges is when you feel the best. So you have to feed those words into your brain. I've got this massive challenge going on, but that's awesome. Control your brain, have a great attitude. Now, if there's a challenge, when can you give up on solving the challenge? You cannot give up. You have to find a solution. And if you're cool and calm under pressure and you're prepared to take a risk to solve a challenge, now you're in a really cool situation. So, to finish off tonight, if you've got a pen and paper, please draw a circle. If you haven't got a pen and paper, draw a circle in your brain and get your brain on fire. So we're just going to do this circle here. We're going to have B, A, N, K. Got it? In your headspace, if you haven't got pen and paper, this is 0, this is 10. 10, 10, 10. Remember I promised you some self-analysation? That word that doesn't exist. What I'd like you to do with this beautiful word bank, easy to remember because where are we sitting? In the bank. 0, we're going to start with brain. 0 is you are constantly feeding rubbish words into your own brain. Every morning you're waking up saying it's going to be a terrible day, I'm tired, I'm fat, I'm stressed, my life sucks. That's 0, yeah? 10 is every day you wake up, you're feeding into your brain positive words. So you're typing in, I'm happy, I love being chubby, my life's amazing, I'm really excited about my day. Now you might be on 5, because some of the days you might do this and some of the days you might do this, so that gives you a 5. But somewhere between 0 and 10, give yourself a score on how you control your brain. Isn't it awesome that you're in full control of your brain? I'll just give you a real classic example of that. We talk about I can't help that. The words that you type in to Google, who controls those words? Everything you type into Google, I'm so excited, I'm spitting, I'm sorry. Everything you type into Google, you have full control over it. If you want to type in clothes, you type clothes and then Google will give you what you want. Yeah? You have full control of that. So the words that you use will control the way you think, which will then control the way you feel. Not the other way around. People say, oh, I feel terrible. Why do you feel terrible? Say it. Say it. I feel terrible. Say it.
I feel terrible.
And here's all the reasons why. And your poor old subconscious brain here has no control now over you type the word, so the Google search engine has to give you what you gave it. Does that make sense? So what I'm asking you to do here is make a decision from this day forward. No more typing rubbish into my brain. Yeah? So just give yourself a rating. Now the next one is 0 is that everything in your life is negative. It's hot, it's cold, I'm tired, I'm stressed. And your reputation is you need a lot of cheese because you do a lot of whining. 10 is that you have an attitude, a positive attitude regardless. So even if 2 planes fly into the Twin Towers building, you're still the person who finds a positive out of that. What can I do to turn this into some kind of a positive? And give yourself a rating of somewhere between 0 and 10. You with me? Now, never give up. 0 is you are one of these people who comes up with a great idea, you've got a goal, you want to do something really exciting and less than 1. You're creating that statistic that you don't even have one go at it because it's all too hard. You've given up before you even give it a go. I'm going to say that again. The person who gives up before they even give it a go versus this person who never, ever, 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 ever gives up. Now there's this other cool story, and a lot of motivational speakers use this, and I've got a challenge with motivational speaking because motivation's like having a bath. You've got to do it every day. You've got to have a shower every day. So you can't go and get all revved up. Tonight's not about being revved up, it's about analysing yourself and making some changes in your own life. Would that be fair? So if you have an attitude, a never give up attitude, that means doesn't matter what's going on in your life, you would never ever give up. So here's the story. When we turn the light on, we're pretty used to it, yeah? What happens when you flick the switch? The light comes on, doesn't it? There was a time where there was no light, and there's an argument about how many times the man who created the light bulb tried to do that. Now, let's just say that it's a complete exaggeration, because some people tell you he attempted 10,000 times to make the light glow. Some people say it's 1,000 times. Let's just say it was 5. Let's just say there's a massive exaggeration about the light bulb, and let's just say he tried 5 times. I'm going to ask you this question. You want a promotion at work. You want to be promoted at your job. You put in an application for a promotion, they say no, go away. You put in another application, they say no, go away. You put in another application, they say no, go away. You put in another application, they say no, go away. Who's going back for the 5th time? Very few. And that's where I'm asking you to make this self-analysation. If you're the person that gets told no 5 times, tomorrow's Valentine's Day, you send somebody a lovely card and they say, go away, don't like you. How many more times are you going to try? Yeah? If you have a never give up attitude, you'll be inviting us to your wedding at some stage. Yes or no?
Yep.
I have to tell you a quick story about that. There was a young guy, we had a fitness business college, and Trevor, his name was, Trevor Basecki. And he wanted to work in this beautiful gym on the Gold Coast, and I'm talking a pristine, gorgeous, brand new, chrome carpet, beautiful gym. And he was a bit rough around the edges, and he applied to work at the gym, and they said, no, we don't want you. So he applied again, and they said, no, we don't want you. So he stopped applying, and he started turning up at the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, back before 24-hour gyms. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, well in fact at 5:45 in the morning when the gym would open at 6, he would be at the front door with a big happy smiley face talking to all the members at the gym. Guess who wasn't at the gym at 5:45 in the morning when all the members were waiting to get in the gym? The manager or the personal trainer or the gym instructor. How many of you have ever been to a gym where the gym's supposed to open at 6 and 6:15, 6:30 there's still nobody there? So he would just rock up and talk to everybody. And then he would come in the morning, and if the mirrors were dirty, he would clean the mirrors. If the toilets were dirty, he'd clean the toilets. He'd talk to all the members at the gym, ask them what their goal was, why they wanted to achieve their goal, how excited they were about achieving their goal. Would you like a spot with this exercise? He applied to work at the gym. They said no. He was a bit rough around the edges. The next time I heard about Trevor was from the area manager of that particular chain of health clubs in Queensland, Australia. And she said to me, Rowie, who's this Trevor Bersecki guy? I said, why do you ask? And she said, because I have to employ him. The members at the gym have told me that I have to employ him. That's called a never give up attitude. He was told no, no, no. So please give yourself a self-analysation. 0 is you don't even give it a go. You give up before you give it a go, and 10 is you never give up until you achieve the goal. Yeah? Now, cool, calm and collected and courageous. There's 4 Ks there. Do you like that? K, 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 K. 0 is you panic. Regardless. Ah! I've got a pimple. Ah! I'm going to be late. You just panic. 10, the building's burning down, and you're very quietly saying to everybody, this is the exit, let's go this way. Doesn't matter what's going on, you are cool and calm and you find a solution. Give yourself an analysis between 0 is you panic and 10 is you're always cool, calm and collected. Now, here's the challenge. This is called a wheel. Yes, it's meant to be round, so let's pretend that it's round. When you've got a wheel on your car that's round versus a wheel on your car that's... If your wheel was this shape, how's the car going? You've got 4 wheels on your car and they're this shape. How's the car going? Come on, it's a bit of a bumpy ride, isn't it? It's a bit bumpy. Excuse me. You could have a round wheel here. If you had tiny little wheels on your car, how fast your car going? If you've got big wheels on a big truck and there's a big mountain to go through, what happens? Now there's really big trucks with the really big wheels, and now they can go through the bush and over all the hills and the mountains and the valleys and the gullies, and what happens? Big wheel. So the more you can control your brain and what you're thinking, the more you have a positive attitude, the more you never give up, because when you give up you fail, so if you never give up you will never. And if you are cool, calm and courageous all of the time, what will happen to your wheel? What will happen to the amount of money you will earn?
More money.
What will happen to your promotion opportunities? What will happen to the way you feel every day? Oh my God, you could get accused of being obnoxiously happy! Thank you for having me today. A huge thank you. I know it's the end of your day. It's wow day today, isn't it?
Yes.
And you've got some of you got to go home and prepare because you've got undies to prepare for tomorrow. Or you've got to tidy everything up so you don't have to wear it tomorrow. And last but not least, and Shada will share this with you, the college, our college, there's a Max app which is free to download from your app store, and you will hear these positive happy messages from me. There's obnoxiously happy messages. If you download the app onto your phone, you'll hear from me every single day. Your phone will ping and there'll be a happy message about exercise or positive attitude or how to get promoted or how to get sexier undies or whatever. And I always share that with you because that's my gift. There's nothing else except that every single day I want you to be able to get a positive message into your life. So thanks for having me. Have a wonderful evening and happy birthday.